It's interesting how fear of social groups can mess with our judgment. At first, when we're scared of others, it doesn't feel like it's affecting how we think. But slowly, in the background, it starts changing how we see and understand things. Instead of helping us think clearly, it pushes us to react emotionally and stops us from thinking things through properly. When fear is involved, the mind shifts its focus. Instead of asking what is true, it starts asking what feels safe. People begin to judge information based on comfort rather than accuracy. Ideas that feel reassuring are accepted more easily, while anything that creates doubt or discomfort is pushed away, even if it might be true. Over time, this leads to a distorted view of reality. Fear also keeps people unknowingly ignorant. It's not always that information isn't available, it's that some ideas feel too uncomfortable to explore. Questions that might challenge beliefs, relationships, or stability are often avoided. So instead of learning more, people stay within a limited understanding that feels safe but incomplete. This is where bias starts to grow. People tend to stick with what they already believe and avoid anything that contradicts it. Conflicting viewpoints feel unsettling, so they are ignored or explained away. Gradually, a person becomes more convinced they are right, even though they are only seeing a small part of the picture. Fear also makes independent thinking harder. Going against common opinions can feel risky, like it might lead to judgment or rejection. So even when people have doubts, they may not explore them seriously. They stay within familiar ideas because it feels safer. In a way, this limits their ability to think freely, almost like their thinking is restricted by their own emotions. In daily life, this shows up as quick opinions, strong reactions, and a reluctance to question what most people believe. Decisions are made more on instinct and feeling than on logic. The more this happens, the more natural it becomes, until emotional thinking takes over, and careful thinking becomes less common. The tricky part is that most people don't realize this is happening. Fear doesn't show itself clearly, it makes its conclusions feel obvious and correct. So people believe they are thinking clearly, even when their thinking is being influenced. This creates a cycle. Fear limits understanding, limited understanding increases bias, and that bias strengthens the original fear. Breaking out of this cycle is not just about having more information. It requires being willing to face discomfort, question what feels certain, and separate emotions from facts. Without that effort, fear continues to shape how people think, keeping them in a version of reality that feels safe, but may not be true.